Let's get to know one of the most useful instruments in life, Simpler. I'm going to use it in my track to create the bass line. I dropped Simpler to my free MIDI track. I have this one-shot bass sample that I want to use, and I'm dragging it into Simpler's sample zone. If the track is armed, I can play some notes with it. First thing we can do to process the sound is to play with a filter. Here you can choose the type of a filter. I will use the low pass. There are also different kinds of filters, and I will set it to SMP. You can see that the drive button appears, and you can color your sound with it. I would also add a little bit of resonance. LFO stands for low frequency oscillation. It's when a low frequency, usually below 20 Hz, is used to modulate the sound. This way we can create a rhythmic pulse. The envelope is like a cycle of life. If something has an envelope, it means that it changes over time. Let's try to edit our filter so it doesn't act immediately and has some attack. Rise up the amount here. In the LFO control section, I can choose which parameter will be affected by the LFO. I can switch from an exact frequency to matching the beat. Now I'm going to record a take in my session view, so I should press the session record button right here. If I switch to the clip here, I can see what I've recorded. I don't need such a long clip, so I'm highlighting the useful part only. And then I use right-click, crop clip, highlighting all the notes with Command A, and then quantizing them with Command U. I like it. I would maybe just edit this LFO. Then I would shorten the second note. So now I have this clip with the bass line, and like in the previous part, I want to make variations of it for different scenes. I'm duplicating my clip to the next slots using Command D and playing with notes in different ways to get my scenes filled with clips. There's also another great way of getting creative with Simpler. I'm now going to create a synth for my track from a random sample. I'm creating the new MIDI track using Command-Shift-T and dragging Simpler on it. Now let's choose something really random. For instance, let's search for some hi-hat and put it into Simpler. My computer MIDI keyboard button is on, so I can trigger this sample. I'm taking a part of it and I'm looping it. Listen what happens if I use just a tiny little part of it. Now it's a tonal sound, and I can play the real notes with this hi-hat in the past. I can entertain myself with the filter again, and I want to put some reverb on it. Before reverb, I would actually use the pitch modulation. Sounds like a vibrato. I would maybe take a higher note, added some color to it with erosion, and edited Simpler's LFO. Now let's integrate this new sound into our track. Okay, here's what I've recorded. Using Fold button, I can leave visible only those notes that I've just played. Let's quantize them. Now, again, I want to make a few variations of this clip for my scenes. To go one octave lower, I hold Shift with down arrow. Now I have drums, bassline, and synth ready in the session view. And at this point, I'd like to switch to the arrangement view and continue working with my track there. And I'm looking forward to showing you how to do that in the part 4 of this series.